everything is about to change. The trailer for The Chosen Season 6 Episode 1 has finally given us our first real look at the beginning of the end. And from the very first moment, you can feel it. This season will be unlike anything we have ever seen before. The peace that once surrounded Jesus is now gone. The safety the disciples once felt has disappeared, and in its place there is only tension, fear, and the quiet certainty that something irreversible has begun. What makes this trailer so powerful is not just what it shows, but what it makes you feel. Because you can see it in Jesus' eyes. He knows what is coming. He knows the suffering has already begun. And yet, he continues forward without hesitation. This is not just the start of a new season. This is the beginning of the final days of Jesus. The trailer opens with a feeling that is impossible to ignore. There is no joy, there is no celebration. Instead, there is silence. A heavy, uncomfortable silence that immediately tells us that everything has changed since the last time we saw Jesus and his followers. The tension is everywhere. The disciples are no longer confident. They are no longer at peace. They are afraid. And for the first time, they are beginning to realize that they may lose him. You can see confusion on their faces. You can see desperation. They do not fully understand what is happening, but deep down they know that the danger is now real. And at the center of all of this stands Jesus. Calm, still, but completely aware of what awaits him. One of the most powerful moments in the trailer is seeing how alone Jesus already feels, even while surrounded by those who love him the most. His silence speaks louder than words ever could. He is not trying to escape. He is not trying to defend himself. Instead, he is preparing himself. You can see the emotional exhaustion, and yet there is also strength, a quiet strength that comes from accepting what must be done. At the same time, the trailer makes it very clear that powerful forces are now moving against him. The religious leaders are no longer watching from a distance. They are no longer waiting. They are acting. Their patience has run out. Their fear has turned into determination, because they understand that Jesus' influence has grown too large to control, and this makes him more dangerous to them than ever before. You can see it in their expressions. There is anger, there is fear, but most importantly, there is resolve. They have already decided what they want to do. The only thing left is to find the right moment to do it. And what makes all of this even more difficult to watch is seeing how unaware some of the disciples still are. They want to believe that everything will be okay. They want to believe that Jesus will somehow overcome this, just as he always has before. But others are beginning to sense the truth. Others are beginning to understand that this time is different. This time, Jesus is not resisting what is coming. This time, he is allowing it to happen. And this realization terrifies them. The trailer also gives us small but powerful glimpses of the emotional pain that will define this season. You can see it in the way Jesus looks at his disciples. You can see it in the way he speaks to them, knowing that his time with them is coming to an end. Every word feels heavier, every moment feels more important, because nothing will ever be the same again after this. What makes this beginning so unforgettable is the contrast between the calmness of Jesus and the chaos growing around him. While fear spreads among his followers, he remains steady. While his enemies grow more aggressive, he remains peaceful. And this contrast makes everything even more heartbreaking, because he is the only one who fully understands what is about. And perhaps the most chilling part of the trailer is the feeling that the events have already been set in motion. There is no stopping what is coming. There is no turning back. The decisions have been made. The path has been chosen. And now, everyone will have to face the consequences. This is not just the beginning of a season. This is the beginning of the final sacrifice. And after seeing this trailer, one thing has become absolutely clear. Season 6, Episode 1 will not just tell a story. It will make us feel every moment of fear, every moment of pain, and every moment of courage that defined the final days of Jesus. And this is only the beginning as the trailer continues. The sense of danger becomes impossible to ignore. What once felt like a distant threat is now standing directly in front of Jesus. The people who once questioned him in secret are now preparing to confront him openly. And for the first time, it truly feels like they are no longer afraid of him. Instead, they are determined to stop him, no matter the cost. You can see the shift in their confidence. They are no longer reacting, they are planning. Every move is calculated. Every step brings them closer to the moment they have been waiting for. At the same time, we begin to see the emotional breaking point of the disciples. They have followed Jesus through everything. They are acting like people who are terrified of losing someone they love. And this makes everything feel even more real. Because this is not just a story about destiny. This is a story about loss, about sacrifice, about watching something you cannot stop. And yet, despite everything, Jesus remains completely calm. There is no panic in him. There is no hesitation. He walks forward with the full knowledge of what awaits him, and this calmness is both powerful and heartbreaking at the same time. Because you understand that his strength does not come from avoiding suffering, it comes from accepting it. Jonathan's performance in these moments feels deeply personal. You can see that every look, every pause, every breath carries meaning. He does not need to say much. His silence tells us everything. The trailer also begins to show how isolated Jesus is becoming. Even while standing next to his disciples, there is a distance forming between them. Not because they do not love him, but because they cannot fully understand what he is choosing to do. They still think there is a way out. They still think something will change. But Jesus knows that the path forward leads only to suffering, and he accepts this path willingly. Meanwhile, the religious leaders are shown growing more unified. Their fear of losing control has turned into action. They are no longer divided. They are no longer uncertain. They are moving with purpose, because in their minds, they believe they are doing what must be done. They believe they are protecting their authority. They believe they are protecting their world. And this belief makes them more dangerous than ever before. There is also a growing sense that time is running out. Every moment feels like it is leading toward something unavoidable. Every conversation feels heavier. Every interaction feels like it could be the last. And this creates an overwhelming feeling of suspense. Because even though we know the story, seeing it unfold this way As the trailer moves forward, the emotional intensity reaches a completely different level. What once felt like growing tension has now turned into something far more serious. The danger is no longer hidden. It is no longer something waiting in the distance. It is here. And for the first time, it becomes clear that Jesus is no longer being watched. He is being hunted. Every movement around him feels controlled. Every step he takes feels like it is leading him exactly where his enemies want him to go. And yet, he does not resist. He does not run. He continues forward, fully aware that each step brings him closer to unimaginable suffering. What makes these moments even more powerful is the emotional conflict happening within the disciples. They are no longer just afraid, they are confused. They cannot understand why Jesus is allowing this to happen. They have seen his power. They have seen him command storms. They have seen him heal the sick. They have seen him do what no ordinary person could ever do. And now, they are watching him remain silent while danger closes in from every direction. This silence is something they cannot understand, and this lack of understanding creates a deep emotional distance between them and the one they love most. You can see that some of them want to act, some of them want to fight, some of them want to stop what is happening before it is too late. But at the same time, they are held back by fear. Fear of the authorities, fear of the consequences, fear of losing everything. And this fear makes them feel powerless. For the first time since they began following Jesus, they are realizing that they may not be able to protect him. And this realization is devastating. Meanwhile, Jesus himself appears more emotionally burdened than ever before, not weak, but deeply affected by what he knows is coming. His expressions reveal a quiet sorrow, not for himself, but for those around him, because he knows the pain they will soon experience. He knows the fear they will face, and yet, he also knows that this path cannot be changed. This inner emotional struggle is shown in such a subtle but powerful way that you can feel it without a single word being spoken. Jonathan Rumi's portrayal in these moments feels incredibly real. There is a heaviness in his presence, a sense that he is carrying something far greater than physical pain. His eyes reflect both peace and sorrow at the same time. And this combination creates a performance that feels deeply human, while also reminding us of the divine purpose behind his journey. It is this balance that makes these scenes so unforgettable. At the same time, the trailer begins to show how the world around Jesus is turning against him more openly. The whispers have turned into accusations. The quiet hostility has turned into open rejection. The leaders who once feared his influence are now confident that they can finally stop him. And this confidence makes them more aggressive than ever before. They are no longer waiting for the right moment. They believe the moment has arrived. There is also a powerful sense of isolation growing around Jesus. Even among crowds, he feels alone. Even among his closest followers, there is a distance that cannot be crossed, because he is the only one who fully understands what is about to happen. He is the only one who knows how this story must end. And carrying this knowledge alone makes his journey even more painful. Another deeply emotional element shown in the trailer is the visible breaking point of some of the disciples. Their strength is fading. Their confidence is disappearing. They are no longer sure what to believe. Everything they thought they understood is beginning to collapse. And this emotional collapse shows just how human they truly are. They are not prepared for what is coming. They are not ready to lose him. But what makes he does not try to give them false comfort. Instead, he allows them to face these emotions, because he knows that their journey, like his, must continue forward. By this point in the trailer, the tone has completely shifted. This is no longer just a story about faith and miracles. This is now a story about sacrifice, about loss, about courage in the face of inevitable suffering. And every second of the trailer reminds us that the moment of arrest is no longer far away. The shadow of the cross is now closer than ever, and there is nothing left to stop it. As the trailer approaches its most intense moments, the feeling of inevitability becomes overwhelming. Everything that Jesus has done, everything he has said, and everything he has prepared his disciples for, is now leading to this exact point. There is no more time. There are no more delays. The moment that will change the world forever is now standing right in front of him. And what makes this moment so powerful is that Jesus does not show fear in the way others do. Instead, there is a deep emotional weight within him, a quiet pain that comes not from surprise but from certainty. He knows the betrayal is close. He knows the suffering is near. And still, he continues forward. One of the most chilling elements shown in the trailer is the growing sense of betrayal that surrounds Jesus. Not everyone around him is who they once appeared to be. There is a shift happening. Trust is beginning to break. Loyalty is beginning to weaken. And even though the trailer does not show everything directly, you can feel that something is wrong. You can feel that someone close to Jesus is struggling internally. This silent tension creates an atmosphere that is almost unbearable to watch, because you understand that the pain Jesus will face will not only come from his enemies, but also from someone who once walked beside him. At the same time, the religious leaders appear more confident than ever before. They are no longer acting in secret. They are moving openly, without hesitation. Their plan is already in motion. They believe they are finally taking back control. And this belief gives them a sense of power that makes them even more dangerous. They are no longer afraid of Jesus' influence. They are focused only on ending it. And seeing this shift in their behavior makes the situation feel even more hopeless. Meanwhile, the disciples are reaching their emotional limits. You can see that they are overwhelmed. They are exhausted. They are trying to understand something that feels impossible to accept. The man they believe in, the man they trust completely, the man they thought would change everything, is now walking directly into danger without resisting it. And this creates a deep internal conflict within them. They want to stay strong. They want to believe there is still hope, but their fear is becoming stronger than their faith. Jesus, however, remains steady. His calmness in the middle of this emotional storm is one of the most powerful aspects of the trailer. He does not panic. He does not try to escape. He does not try to prove his innocence. Instead, he accepts what is coming with a quiet strength that is almost impossible to fully understand. This calm acceptance shows a level of courage that goes beyond human instinct, because everything inside a person would normally tell them to run, to fight, or to hide. But Jesus does none of these things. Jonathan's performance here feels deeply personal and emotionally heavy. You can see the exhaustion in his face. You can see the emotional pain in his eyes. But at the same time, you can also see peace. a peace that comes from knowing that his suffering has meaning. This balance between pain and peace creates some of the most emotionally powerful moments we have ever seen in the series. Another important detail the trailer reveals is how quickly the situation is escalating. The environment around Jesus is no longer. There is also a powerful emotional separation happening between Jesus and the world around him. The closer he gets to his fate, the more alone he becomes. Not because he has lost his followers, but because he is the only one who fully understands the purpose behind his suffering. This emotional isolation adds another layer of pain to his journey, because he must carry this burden by himself. By the end of this part of the trailer, the message becomes painfully clear. The final hours of freedom are slipping away. The opportunity to escape is gone. The decisions have already been made, and now the world is simply waiting for the moment when everything will finally unfold. And when that moment arrives, nothing will ever be the same again. As the final moments of the trailer unfold, there is a feeling that is impossible to escape. It is the feeling that the world is holding its breath. Everything has led to this point. Every miracle, every teaching, every warning Jesus gave to his disciples is now becoming reality. And what makes this moment so emotionally powerful is that Jesus is not surprised by any of it. He is not caught off guard. He is known from the very beginning that this is how his journey must continue. And now, standing at the edge of his suffering, he remains calm. Not because the pain will be easy, but because he knows it is necessary. There is a deep emotional shift in the atmosphere. The hope that once filled the hearts of his followers is now mixed with fear and uncertainty. They can feel that something terrible is about to happen, even if they do not fully understand it yet. You can see it in their faces. They are trying to stay close to him, trying to hold on to every moment they have left, because deep down, they sense that their time together is running out. And this makes every second feel more valuable than ever before. At the same time, the trailer makes it clear that the forces moving against Jesus are now unstoppable. The leaders have mad.